So, what is the point in having law if nobody reads it or understands it, let alone is interested in it, and when it applies and why it applies? The thing with Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil is they don't listen when you're trying to explain something. They're as bad as the police and the CPS and the courts, even the justices. And the justices deserve the kind of behaviour in court that Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil engage in, because the magistrates themselves can't listen to people, won't listen to people. Just like Nicholas Watson didn't want to listen, didn't want to hear it, didn't even want to go through it. Not all judges, but some of them are as bad as these protesters. Now, this is so simple. It's really very easy. There couldn't actually be any easier law than this. If you have to be interested and want to know this. In any type of banners, any banner, any sign, any notice, anything made with a sign on it, including actions to put it in place or take it down, and any consequences or effects of that sign while it is in place are covered in this act, the Town and Country Planning Act 2007. The 1990 Act has the definition of advert, which includes words, signs, letters, etc., and a representation. The 2007 Act is about using advertisements, which include Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion banners. Now, here in part 1 of the 2007 Act, the general, it says that part 1 3b says that except in the case of an advertisement within Class F, well, that's what we're using, right? Except when you're using Class F, all the conditions specified in Schedule 2 are complied with, right? So, if you're using Class F, right, you don't have to comply. You don't have to comply with all of the conditions in Schedule 2, right? Which we'll look what Schedule 2 is. You don't have to comply with all the conditions in Schedule 2. In the case of an advertisement within Class F, the requirements of paragraph 1 to 3 and 5 are complied with. In the case of an advertisement within Class F, the requirements of paragraphs 1 to 3 and 5 of the standard conditions are complied with, right? The display complies with the conditions and limitations specified in column 2 of that schedule as applicable to advertisements of that description. Right, hold on then. So these are the standard conditions, and the way they're written is patronising. The conditions are written in a cocky and patronising contradiction because they know that if you're using a political advertisement and out of this particular specific enactment that you are using, if it is a 1688 Bill of Rights, if it happens to be, if you're doing a petition, if you're using the right to petition, then you can't be prosecuted or liable to be prosecuted or imprisoned. They know that. There are other enactments you can use in Class F, like the police have to put signs up, witness appeals if they're pursuing criminals. There are many different acts of law that you would use. One of the acts is if you're doing a political petitioning campaign to the government and you're using an enactment where you're not liable to be prosecuted for using this material. But there are these conditions. But if you're using that enactment, how can you be held to any of these conditions? Well, they're written in a way where if you read them properly, with intellect, and understand them, they effectively say they don't apply, right? Now, we just read that if it's Class F, then number 4 doesn't apply, but 1 to 3 and 5 do. But when you read them and what they say, knowing that you're using Class F and the provisions of the enactment that you're using, then that actually explains the rest of them away. We'll go through that. First, we'll go to number 4, because that's the one that it says definitely doesn't apply, right? And it says that any structure or hoarding erected or used principally for the purpose of advertisements shall be maintained in a condition that does not endanger the public. Well, that doesn't apply. That number 4 doesn't apply to Class F. Even if you're not even if you're not using the enactment in Class F of the 1688 Bill of Rights, right to petition. Even if you're not using that enactment, it says any enactment in Class F if you're using any other law. So it could be a witness appeal that the police put up, right? But when you are using the 1688 Bill of Rights right to petition, that law applies to your advertisements and their effects, right? So you're not liable for any danger to the public. You're not liable for any danger to the public. So if you're not liable for any danger, then you're sure as hell as not liable for any nuisance or harassment. Because if you look at the Conservative adverts for Ed Miliband when they're defaming Ed Miliband, those adverts aren't capable of causing harassment in law, And here it says you're not legally capable of causing danger to the public as a consequence of using any ordinary structures, which is where we see Extinction Rebellion when they were putting up those weird frameworks, those weird, strange frameworks outside McDonald's and very strange little frame structures that they were erecting everywhere. They got that from this. But the fact is, if you're not going to be liable to any danger, but the public are in, then what can you be liable for? There's nothing. You can't get any more dangerous or serious than that. It's just removed the thing that is the most serious and dangerous out of the whole thing, and it's removed your liability for it if it's for a structure or hoarding, right? So if you're not liable for any danger to the public from a structure or hoarding, why would you be liable to any danger to the public from sticking it on a lamppost, right? Or over a bridge? And the fact is that, we'll get onto that in a second, there are now private advertisers. The government have deemed that it's perfectly okay to have light-up advertisements, even animated ones, directly over the top of motorways, like the M32 or M6321 in Leeds, and at the side of motorways in farmers' fields. So if you've decided that you're going to allow advertisers to have flashing signs and light-up signs directly over a motorway or at the side of it, they can't be dangerous. Advertisements can't be dangerous, right? Because or else the police and the highways would have lobbied the government to ban them from being over motorways, right? So there is no danger. So it's all down to consent, right? And this is the thing. This act is all about deemed and express consent, or not needing deemed and express consent, because you're exempted from requiring deemed and express consent, because you're exempt from that whole section. This is it here. This section here, with the big red cross that I've greyed out, that is a section where if you're a commercial advertiser, you need consents, right? If you're using Class F, you don't need consents from any authority in this act to place the signs and notices anywhere. So you don't need consent. So back to these conditions, right? We've said number 4, which pretty much, once you're exempted from number 4, I mean, what more danger could there be? You know, if you're not liable for danger. Now, it says, we'll go through 1, 2, and 3. It says that no advertisement is to be displayed without the permission of the owner of the site or any other person with an interest in the site entitled to grant permission. Right, well, this act, right, exempts someone using Class F from requiring consent to use any site, namely public, the taxpayers' public property, the public forum, right? Now, as for privately owned buildings, a private house or private grounds, the 1688 Bill of Rights protects you from criminal prosecutions, criminal liability. It doesn't say about civil debts. And the 1689 Claim of Right talks about if you damage someone's private or personal property, you might be liable to a civil debt to them to be sued, or depending on whether they're insured or not, right? But that's up to a private person to sue, right? Like they can take legal actions against members of parliament in between sessions, or at least if it's heard by a judge or you can have a grievance with a member of parliament, and it can be heard at a higher level or whatever. Now the thing is that this is the problem, is that when there's no criminal liability, you can't be prosecuted. So it actually doesn't matter whether it's public or private, because the taxpayers' public arena is the thing that we pay for and we act in. So, number one, no advertisement is to be displayed without the permission of the owner of the site. Well, it's King Charles III for the roads. It's His Majesty's government, which is a taxpayer, and that's who we're petitioning. It's the King, and we've got the right to petition the King without being prosecuted. And this act, the 1688 Bill of Rights, is by consent. Look. This is. I don't think Christopher Hehir. I actually truly don't think that he gets it or likes it or believes it. But the consent comes from the consent in the act that gives you consent, and the act has got consent from the Lord, spiritual and temporal, and the King. The King gives consent when he writes the act to say that you don't need consent. Right? There's the consent. So number one. You see, this is all dependent on exactly which enactment you're using in Class F, because there are loads of different laws. You might not be doing a political petition campaign, right? But if they are, then they are, right? But it says that Class F, if he's using another enactment, they don't need consent anyway. So it really mainly applies to commercial material. There are police acts and other acts. There are many acts that I don't know about. There might even be a certain act that businesses can get away with not needing consent. But I think that it's meant to be mainly for non-commercial, non-profit. So we'll go on to the second one. No advertisement shall be cited or displayed so as to A. Endanger persons using any highway, railway, waterway, dock, harbour or aerodrome, civil or military. Well, this is the thing. How would it endanger it? How would it endanger it? This is the thing. So, the current position is that this is how it is, right? The question is, do signs, adverts over highways, the presence of them, endanger traffic? Or at the sides of the highway? No, they don't, because there are commercial ones all over, and they even pay to have them there. Right? Now, it might be dangerous if it isn't fastened securely, but if it's tied on and fastened on securely, then it's not endangering if you make sure. Now, who's to judge whether it's secure or not? Well, if I fasten something to somewhere, I know whether it's secure or not, particularly if I'm tying it on with rope, right? Now, if some highway guy comes up and takes it off and say, oh, that could be dangerous, well, prove it. Then you're proving whether or not it was fastened on tightly and correctly or not, right? That's a different thing to prove. Then you're saying that something wasn't secured properly, and then you need evidence to prove that, right? Not just the fact that, it was there, or they were planning to put it there, they're planning to put it there where they're planning to fasten it on properly. You see, all this is not entertained, right? Because people are interested and don't want to know. The police just go, I'm a police officer. I think in my mind that's dangerous just because it's there, right? Yeah, he's hardly at a crime scene checking for fingerprints and looking to see evidence of it being fastened on properly. The evidence that there are advertisements over motorways is that it's no longer regarded a danger to traffic to have the presence of them there. And never mind, just a banner. They've even got illuminated film movies over them now, right? So the presence of adverts is agreed nationally that the presence of adverts over and around highways isn't dangerous to traffic, or else they would have banned them and no commercial can use them. If commercial can have them there, political campaigns can have them there, as long as they fasten them securely, right? But it's only saying no advertisement shall be cited or displayed so as to, right? But yet, the thing is, what happens if you fasten it with a structure or hoarding, right? Number 4 says that it says any structure or hoarding erected or used principally for the purpose or displaying of advertisements shall be maintained in a condition that does not endanger the public. It says any structure or hoarding. So if it's any, then it could be one that's next to a highway. It does not say any structure or hoarding except one next to a highway. Does it? Doesn't say any structure or hoarding erected except one next to a highway. It says any structure or hoarding, any, right? So you might have a structure or hoarding near or over a motorway with an advert fastened to it, right? It says any that does not endanger the public. Well, you're exempted from endangering the public, right? So when you get to here, no advertisement shall be cited or displayed so as to endanger people using the highway. It doesn't say that you can't put it next to a highway. It does not say that you can't put it next to a highway or over or near one at all, right? B, obscure or hinder the ready interpretation of any traffic sign, railway signal, or aid to navigation by water or air. So it's saying that you can't block highway signs. C, hinder the operation of any device used for the purpose or security of surveillance of measuring the speed of any vehicle, right? Security surveillance or for a vehicle, right? So that's C. Well, we've got a problem there. Christopher Hehir has got a problem here because the police chief of the Met police chief, he has been telling all the ULEZ campaigners that they were allowed to block the mobile camera vans, right, which were being used for surveillance. They're also capable of measuring speed, but they haven't started using them for speed measurement yet. But they're used for a form of surveillance of the surveilling people to see if they're going to be charged with a ULEZ fine or not, right? So the police is either lying, right? Why were the ULEZ people told they could do that when they were petitioning, and even putting stickers over them, over the surveillance cameras to obscure them, right? Now, the fact is that regardless of this instrument, it says you can use the enactment of the 1688 Bill of Rights, right to petition, and it says you can't be prosecuted for doing petitioning. So, if you can't be prosecuted, you can't be prosecuted. I mean, it's not negotiable. That's the provision. So all of this act really is tosh, but we'll entertain it because you don't need consent. You don't need any consent or permission, right? And another thing is to obscure or hinder the ready interpretation of any traffic sign, railway signal, or aid to the navigation of water. Well, interpretation of a sign, you've got to be able to interpret it. Now, this is the problem with all the illegal road signs. I investigated road signs around England, all over England, the whole of the country, right? A campaign. And I got evidence of them. Many of them are illegal or unlawful. And there's even some Tory MPs who were interested in illegal road signs. What happens is the courts always argue that, it's illegal, but it's not going to affect any fines, right? If you read and study the highway manuals, all of them properly, right? An illegal sign, an unlawfully placed sign, even though you can interpret it, is actually itself an obstruction in the road. An illegal sign is in law, in legal terms, and it is to be understood and recognised as, regardless of if you think that it's just something that you look at when you go past, an obstruction in the road to drivers, right? Regardless of whether the court wants to, see what's proportional, see what's, justifiable, it wants to examine it. Oh, well, this magistrate doesn't think that sign is causing much of an obstruction. It doesn't matter whether it's causing an obstruction. If it is not to specifications prescribed, then it is regarded in law as an obstruction. If its numbers, prescribed figures, are not correct mathematically, if the mathematical numbers are wrong, then it doesn't matter what the judge or magistrate thinks in his opinion, it's what the mathematician calculates in numbers. If 1 + 1 is 2, if 1 elephant is 2, what is 2 elephants? 4. 2 elephants is 4. If 1 elephant is 2, 2 elephants equals 4. It's algebra. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter how you want, what a jury thinks. In maths, 2 plus 2 is 4, right? If the sign is not the prescribed number, colour, or size in law, it is an obstruction in the highway, whether the judge likes it or not, or whether the judge believes it would make a difference to drivers. It is an obstruction in the road, right? Yet no action's been taken against any local council authority, any hearse signs, any business, no road traffic workers, no one. Yet they're placing obstructions in the road on purpose, purposefully incorrect, even manufacturing them illegally, so the outer ring fades off while the centre's still there, or the centre fades off while the outer ring's still there. Every trick in the book. There's no date on the back to see when it was manufactured. It's in the wrong position, it's the wrong speed, right? This is the thing. Yet, when Extinction Rebellion or Just Stop Oil, if they are planning to put an obstruction in the road or cover signs up, they end up in court being prosecuted for even planning it. So why aren't the local council highways executives and all of the crew, the street crew, in court for conspiracy to place obstructions in the road and endanger the public? And they're not even using, they're not even got a case to government. They aren't even using a political right. They're just doing it to cause chaos and havoc. The police are finding people, making a profit out of it. That's aiding and abetting. So they want to bring charges against protesters, but not against local council, when many magistrates have been having a part to play in setting up speed awareness courses and some enforcement sites. So that's that. Security or surveillance? Well, you might be doing surveillance yourself. Hinder the operation of any device used for the purpose of security or surveillance, or for measuring the speed of any vehicle. Well, what happens if you're doing surveillance on the public, surveillancing them to see if surveillance. Surveillance is monitoring, checking, counting, looking at things, right? I have a survey in my hand. I have a checkboard with a tally, and I'm going to stand here and survey cars. Surveillance. I am survey. A survey. I will survey vehicles. 3 lorries, 16 motorbikes, 2 cyclists, 3 trucks. I'm surveillancing them, right? Maybe even for a petition campaign, right? Might even be, in fact, I'm surveying the public, right? To see how many of them support my petition, particularly if I have a sign up saying go to the website and sign the petition. There's 1 person signed it, 2 people signed it, 3 people signed it, 4 people signed it. It's a survey. How many people here are riding a bike? 6. How many people here are on a motorbike? 15. How many trucks are there? 42. It's a survey. How many people want to sign this petition for Just Stop oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, look, there's Roger Hallam. He's doing a survey over the highway, right? It is surveillance. It is surveillance, right? So if the police remove Roger Hallam, right, while he's doing a survey in a legal case for the government, then they are hindering the operation of his surveillance, right? He is a survey. He is doing surveillance, right? We're doing surveillance in a legal case. Oh, the police are doing surveillance now, measuring speed of vehicles. Well, what? Hello there, officer. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm measuring people speeding. Oh, that's funny. I'm collecting a survey of people who are going to ban your speed cameras and remove them because you're a criminal, because you're aiding and abetting putting illegal road signage up, which is an obstruction in the highway. I'm collecting signatures against you. Well, I'm working for His Majesty's government. Oh, well, that's a coincidence. I'm petitioning the king in my case as well. And it's actually the case to Parliament of England. Where's your case to Proxy Magistrates Court? Oh, Proxy Magistrates Court. You know, very interesting. Well, my case is to the Parliament of England. And what are you doing? It's a criminal case. Is it? Well, you know, and I'm getting divorced tomorrow. We're off to a civil court. Well, you know, well, I'll see you later. I'm going to Parliament. You know, Andrew Bridgen won't be there. He's been unelected. You know, I'm being elected by my surveys electing me. Now I've got 275,000 signatures. I've been elected for this petition. You know, this is the problem with police. They've got no imagination. An advertisement displayed and any site used. Number 3. An advertisement displayed and any site used for the display of... It says any site. An advertisement displayed and any site used. Any site. It doesn't say any site except a highway. It says any site used for the display of advertisements shall be maintained in a condition that does not impair the visual amenity of the site. Well, that's joke, isn't it? What about the all those flyovers over London that are obstructing people's views now? You can't see anything because of advertising. What about you know? How about walking through London? What about when you're walking through London? You know, with your headphones on. You walk straight into a lamppost and knock yourself out. You know, now they've got adverts all down the middle of the pavement. You can't go anywhere in London without the permission. Oh, they got consent. Any advertisement displayed and on any site used for the display of advertisements shall be maintained in a condition that does not impair the visual amenity of the site. How is JC Decor doing it? How is JC Decor doing it in life? How is he getting those billboards installed in the city? All the way down the middle of the pavement. Straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a bus stop there. I'm waiting for the bus. Oh, I can't see the bus coming. There's a JC Decor advertising board there. I'll have to lean out into the middle of the road around it. You know, see what number bus is that's coming. Here, there, everywhere. Oh, I see what's going on here. The council approved it. Do the council have to comply with these rules? The standard conditions? Oh, they're the ones who give themselves deemed an express consent. Yes, but they're not using Class F, are they? It's just commercial. They're not using the right to petition. It's just a commercial advertising board for products, money. How is the mayor or the Labour Party chair for the council sat in the chamber with Tom, Dick and Harry? How are the councillors raising their hands up and then hitting a hammer down on the table? Order, order. I now pass this new instrument for JC Decor to put 116 advertising billboards in the middle of the town. And how much money are they paying me? Oh, let me rub my hands together. We've just made money, 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 green, green money, money. The council's rolling in cash. Just a minute, what about visual amenity? Isn't that blocking the visual amenity of the public, the citizens, walking down the pavement? Little 4-year-old kid walks into a lamppost, knocks himself out. Guy's waiting for a bus, can't see the bus coming, has to lean out into the middle of the road. People walking down the middle of the pavement with earphones on, crashing into all sorts, walking out into the middle of the road. Actually, what's going on here? It's complete bedlam. It's an actual mess. Oh, but it's money. We like chocolate bars. We like sweets. We like Weetabix. We like these, so we turn the blind eye. We don't mind. We're rolling in cash. If you hand the money over, you can get anything here. What's this? A political campaign. Ooh, you can't do that. No, it might be dangerous. What, like the, sperm count that's gone down 50% since World War II because of all the toxic chemicals. This is the problem. Anything that an advertiser can do, you can do better with a petition. Anything an advertiser can do, you can do more. You can do more because you don't have to comply with the law. And it doesn't look like the advertisers are complying with the law here, actually. And why is that? Because they're aided and abetted by Tory and Labour councillors who just do what they want. And now they've got light-up signs over the top of the motorway, but Roger Allen and his friends are getting banged up in court for it. This is the problem. No one understands this law. And yes, there is in the Highways Act... In one of the Highways Acts, it says that signs placed on or near a highway, unless they're exercising a right. Oh, what a coincidence. That's funny, because this has got a section on highways as well. Who's to say it's dangerous? Seems like the police are just calling it out, What's dangerous about it? Oh, it's giving a message to the public, just stop oil. So what? Is it fastened? At least if they came into court, with something, a paperclip, a fingerprint, a jacket with blood on it, a rope. They didn't secure it safely. But no, it's just this, they're planning. Are they planning to go and put a sign over a motorway and not fasten it on properly? No one cares. No one's interested. If it's a murder, they're interested. Oh, where are the fingerprints? Signs on highways. No, signs over highways aren't dangerous because you've allowed advertisers to do it. If you allow advertisers to do it, that means anyone can do it who's using Class F in a petition campaign, because you have made it so signs over motorways are not a danger, right? So that's effectively it. And then you've got your, defamation and so forth, effects caused by such signs and notices, which clearly can't, this is the whole thing with the Tory adverts and, Not My King, Republic campaign and so forth. It's a public nuisance as well. It's just a stupid, ridiculous charge. Public nuisance. adverts on Google are a nuisance. I've never had to put up with such a nuisance than watching YouTube. Watching YouTube is a nuisance. It's making me ill, right? But how can I stop it? Oh, they've agreed. I've had to agree to their policy. I have to consent to them tormenting me. Well, it's the Constitution of England. Do you have to consent to the law? Well, how about being born into this world and saying, yeah, I'm not too keen on the law. I don't consent to it. This is the thing. We've got these laws, 1688 Bill of Rights. Get used to it. It's the right to petition. This is the thing.